Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again, and I'm here today with my better late than never Honor 10 Lite review. Half-baked hotness. And honestly, this phone is a tale of two phones really. Hardware that is really great, but software that is just so infuriating and is just really a deal breaker for me. So I'm going to give my full rundown here of my experience with this phone and the reason why I probably won't be keeping this phone for much longer. So let's start with what's inside the box right here in the Honor 10 Lite. And there's the plastic that the phone came in. See there, here we have our SIM ejector tool. And this plastic has the TPU this jelly case. And let's have a look here. Wow. Micro USB. And I really wish I'd never have to open another micro USB charger again in 2019. But you see there, no headphones included in the box. Very Spartan unboxing here. Pretty average, nothing special. Now talking about the design, and the design of this phone has definitely gotten a little bit worse over the week. You see the specs here, 8mm, 162 grams, very much a light phone, and the reason being is because while it does have aluminum sides, the back is plastic, and it is definitely plastic. I don't mind the aluminum edges. They actually feel really comfortable in the hand, but let's see if you notice when I do it right here. Do you notice that give there? You notice that, like almost pressing on it. This is plastic and it just makes the phone feel cheap, just like the Huawei Y9. The other thing I don't really like is that the fingerprint scanner you see there doesn't really match up with the color very well, and the camera cutouts are a little bit kind of the older Honor style there. I do like the hand feel though. This phone is a little bit smaller than the other ones I've tested. The bottom bezel and the pearl notch, as they call it on the top, are really small, so it's not a terrible design. I give it probably a 7 out of 10 overall. Not bad, but not great either. And now to compare it to the other phones I've been testing right here, specifically the Nokia X7 and the Huawei Y9. Now, looking at these two right next to each other, I think the design language of these phones is very different. You see here on the sides, they've gone for a glossy edge, and that glass back on the Nokia feels really premium, and I really have kind of grown to like Nokia's design style a lot better than this one here. Now, comparing to the Y9, these phones are almost like cousins. They have similar placement for all the buttons you see right here, and they have that glossy edge. Both have kind of plastic backs right here, but if you notice, and so both of them have headphone jacks, so if I really kind of compare the two, it's almost like this Honor 10 Lite is a smaller version of the Honor 8X and the Y9. If I had to pick one of these two, I'm going to go with the bigger screen of the Y9 here. And so in terms of the design you see there, the Y9 is the biggest and the 10 Lite is the smallest. And that goes in terms of display as well. The display is 6.21 inch Full HD display, and one thing I noticed, it's 19.5 by 9, meaning it is a much taller display than even the Pocophone or the Nokia X7. You see the color management is very similar here, but the main negative is that it is a TFT display. And what does that mean in terms of viewing angles? You see it right here, the notch isn't too bad, and there's no kind of light bleed, so to speak, and there's some device information right there. But looking and cycling through these images, one of the things I noticed was that the colors are not as vibrant as the ones I've seen on some other phones like the Nokia X7. You see here, the main thing with TFT displays is the viewing angles. The viewing angles just are not as good, and it may not show here in the video, but when I do turn on some of these photos, the viewing angles just are not to the level of IPS LCDs. Now looking at YouTube playback, another thing that may be an annoyance on this phone is that when it does full screen, it does go into the notch area. I'm kind of back and forth on this. I like it sometimes because of the use of space, but I guess they've kind of opted to go full screen here because the notch is so small. But YouTube experience should be fairly average and kind of decent for your everyday needs. Looking at DRM info, and wow, what'd you guys expect here with a cheaper budget China phone that is having really other app issues more than anything, but we'll get into that in a second. Now going right into performance, this is the Kirin 710 with 4 GB of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, so it is going to be a decent performer And you see here in Geekbench, we have a 1477 single core and just over 5,000 multi-core score. So it's not going to be the fastest phone on the market. Very acceptable though in this price range. I think it performs kind of in between, I'd say, a 636 and a 660. So not bad at all right here. But now into the major issues, and that kind of relates to performance in the UI, EMUI 9, and the apps experience. It is a total mess, guys. You see that there? That is not Google Play. In fact, this is some sort of a kind of repository for all these Google apps I've had to download. And I will show you right here the issue I've been running into. So I open up the app gallery, and you should just be able to find the Google Play Store, download it as I'm doing right here. It's open, ready to go, and watch what happens. That happens, and it happens again and again and again, just over and over again. I cannot install the Play Store. I had to find this other method of being able to open the Play Store. The other issue has been app compatibility. I haven't been able to download Google Photos or Asphalt 9, so the app experience on this phone is a mess. It may be almost too soon to buy this phone, and I can't recommend the app experience one bit. And now the speaker test. Let's have a listen. What can I say? It's a very lackluster performance. The Nokia X7 just destroys the Honor 10 Lite here in the speaker department. It's not a terrible speaker, but it is very, very much average, if not maybe a little below average. And I feel like Huawei really needs to kind of work on their speakers here on their phones, because they are starting to get really bad compared to the competition. And now talking about the camera, and we have a 13 megapixel f1.8 lens here, all the kind of various software enhancements that Huawei includes. And here's the subject matter of the day. Say hello to the Super Nintendo Classic. If you haven't ever tried one of these, you should pick one up. It's pretty awesome. And I'll take a few shots here. And as I mentioned before, guys, I haven't been able to do a full camera comparison of this phone. So this is the one shot I have to share as of this time. I haven't been able to download Google Photos, and that is the way I am able to get my photos onto my computer. It is a real disaster right now. But you see there, the camera will need to be tested further, or else it's kind of just done. So my final verdict on this phone as of right now, I cannot recommend this phone, guys. Do not buy this phone, and even if you have a chance to buy it, don't get it. It's got sleek looks, but it's not ready for prime time. And the app situation right now on EMUI 9, at least from the China phones, is an absolute mess and is a major deal breaker for me. So unless this phone gets major updates or they fix this issue, I can't recommend it for any of you guys in other countries looking to try this phone. So I'll probably be going back to the shop very soon. So that's the end of this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. If you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. I'll be definitely doing some great content with some other phones very soon, guys. Stay tuned. And this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Y'all have a good one.